Hello everybody, I'm back with the Indian Army Bullet. There's a few things I want to talk about, not just this bike, but DVLA and things like that. Yeah, it's running really well. I've put about just over 1,000 miles on it now. And my biggest problem with it so far is the paint coming off the engine, coming off there, there's a little bit come off there, there's little places on the wheel rims as well where it's come off. So let's get you in a place where you can see. Yeah, it's a good old bike, definitely, and it's very different to ride than the later Bullets. I think I've said this in one of the previous videos, but it is very different to ride. This is a Redditch built engine, and but it was actually put into an Indian frame in India. Because up to 1969, although the factory shut at Redditch in 1967, they had a stock of Bullet engines in stock, which they needed to get rid of. So, of course, the Indians were the obvious customer. So that's where they went. So the Indians were putting Redditch engines in. And the interesting thing is, let me get a camera. Ugh. The interesting thing is, I don't know if you'll be able to see it in here, it's a bit dark down here. There's two sets of engine numbers. No, you can't really see. I'll try and get the reflection of the sun off the lens where you might be able to see. You've got one number there, and there's another number down there. So you've got a Redditch number. You've got a Redditch number here, and the Indian number there. But anyway, that's what it is. So the Indians called it a B1. So what else is going wrong with it? It's leaking a bit of oil around the head gasket. Probably out of that one as well. I need to check all that, and if I have to put a head gasket on it, I'll put a head gasket on it. It's not a big thing. Yeah, I did mention the DVLA. Aha, the dreaded DVLA that we all had battles with over the years. You know, it seems to me that they don't know what they're doing, but about 7 months ago, I bought a 1951 Royal Enfield Bullet, and it was on the old blue type logbook V5. So I filled in the back, put it into my name, and sent it off. And I didn't hear nothing back for about 2 months, so I phoned them up and said, you know, I've sent this logbook off, and they said, well, it's still being processed. We'll get it to you soon. And I said, well, when are you going to get it to me? And they said, well, when we get round to it. You're not the only person who sends in a V5. So anyway, I waited for about another month, and they sent it to me. And I opened the envelope, and there's the V5, the old blue one. Nothing changed on it, not even in my name. The back was still filled in with my writing. And I thought, well, what are they doing here? No letter of explanation. So I was a bit miffed by that. Anyway, I left it for a month. And I thought, well, I'll send it to a different address at Swansea, where the new logbooks you have to send them to. And I sent it off in a bit of a hurry, sent it, recorded delivery, so I knew they'd get it, and I suddenly realised after I'd posted it that I hadn't taken a copy of it. So 3 months went by and I still didn't hear a thing from them. So I phoned them up, and the first thing they said was, "What's the registration number?" And I said, "I don't know, I didn't copy the V5. She says, "Well, have a look at the bike." And I said, "I haven't got the bike." I said, "I'm waiting, it's in a big barn full of cars and bikes and vehicles and everything, and it's right at the very back." And the woman said, "So you haven't got the vehicle?" I said, "No, I haven't got the vehicle, I paid for it." I said, "It's mine." And I said, "I've got to wait now until the guy clears it and I can go and pick it up." So she said, "Right, well, okay, then we'll just, can you go over and have a look at it then and just get the registration number off the back of the bike?" I said, "The bike hasn't got a registration number on it, there's no number plate on it." I said, "But I did check the engine number and the frame number against the V5 and they matched, so that is the right logbook for it." So they said, "Well, oh, okay, well, you know, we still can't do anything because I said, "Well, it's a blue V5, the old blue one, not the red one, the modern one." I said, "And it's all filled in with my name and address on the back, so you'll easily find it." She said, "No, we won't easily find it." She said, "Because everything is done on the registration number." And I thought, now I've lost this now. She said, "The only other thing you can do is to send a photograph, 2 photographs of the bike and showing its registration number," which I didn't know what it was anyway, and it's not on the bike, "and then and £25, and then will it give you a new V5? And I said, "Yeah, but you're still going to want to know what I need the V5 that I sent to you." I said, "Because it's got all the details on it." "Well, you can write in with the frame number and the engine number." And I thought, it's 100 miles away where the bike is. So I gave up with it. I just thought, I've lost that. It's not a worry because I haven't got the bike yet anyway. So anyway, I got a letter from Swansea and I opened it, and lo and behold, a new V5 for that bike with the right registration number, the right engine and frame number, and it's in my name. So they do have I know they're a bit long-winded, but I did get the right document in the end. So you just have to be patient. But not when you're on the phone. You soon rear up at them when you're on the phone, I'll tell you. So anyway, that's a story about another Bullet. Not this one. But yeah, I want to try and keep this one nice and tidy because it's a nice little bike. It rides very nicely. Because it's got the heavy flywheels, I've been up and down some hills on the later Bullets, my 2007 one and 2006 one, and their flywheels are a lot lighter than these. These are probably 3 or 4 pounds heavier, and this just the inertia of the flywheels just takes you up the hills like no problem at all. You know, where the later ones they do start to fall on the face a little bit because they just haven't got the inertia in the flywheels to take you up the hill. You know, you have to eventually change down, but yeah, that's the extreme case. So it's a different bike to ride. It's definitely a different bike with the brakes. You've got a half-width hub in the front and a half-width hub in the back. And to say that they are period wouldn't be far wrong. They are period brakes. So you want to give yourself plenty of time to stop. But We're still in this heat wave at the moment, and I'm taking full advantage of it. And in case you wondered where my last two videos went, which was Preston Classic Bike Show and the Stonham Barnes video, I took them down because they did so badly. YouTube rated them 10 out of 10 for performance, and if they go down to that sort of figure, 10 being the lowest, 1 being the best, then they don't show the videos to people, so people can't click on it because it's not recommended to them. And they both did terrible, absolutely terrible. I mean, the Stonham bike video, that only got just over 100 views in a day and a bit. So I thought, well, I'm just going to take them down because nobody can find them, nobody can see them, nobody wants to watch them. So that was a learning curve. So to replace them, which I uploaded at the weekend, or at the beginning of the weekend, I'm doing this video. So this is just a nonsense video, really. It's just talking about the bikes, really. But I like talking about bikes. You might have noticed that. But yeah, so the trusty 350 Bullet. I like this old bike. It's got some weird tyre on the back. I don't know what it is. It's a Dunlop India tyre. The front one was absolutely like made out of plastic. It was terrible. I don't know what make that was. I've still got it. It's brand new, but it's got a picture on the sidewall of the tyre of a tortoise on the fire. I don't know what that's all about, but if you felt across the tread, there's a rib tyre like that one. If you felt across the tread, it felt like you were running your fingers across something made out of plastic. I thought there's no grip in that at all, so I changed it. I've got two pairs of new Royal Enfield Bullet wheels and hubs and tyres, and I whipped one of the tyres off the new rim, and it was a Seat tyre, and that's what's on it at the moment, and that seems okay. Or they don't work on the Interceptor, but they seem to work on this all right. You know, you can lather it about around the corners if you want to. Now, out of all the bikes that I've got, and I've got a few, this one is the one that gets the most attention. I can park it anywhere, and it's not long before there's people oohing and ahhing and looking at it and pointing and quizzing you about it. And I don't know, it's something about army bikes and army kit. People like army kit. They just, if it's army or military, they love it. I've never been like that. Military things don't normally flick my switch. I mean, I've had military vehicles. I had two AEC Matadors, not Matadors, sorry, Militants, 6x6s. And they were awesome, but then again, you know that they're going to be awesome because the army have them, and the army need to do tough things with their vehicles. So yeah, that's the story. People just love this bike. It draws a crowd wherever you go, and I don't mind answering questions and that. And you know, people say, "Oh, I had one exactly the same as that," and I said, well, I probably wasn't. I said, because it was no, mine was a British Army Indian one. And I said, well, the Indians never had the bullet, the British Army never had the bullets. They had the CO, which was a 350, during the war, but they didn't have the bullets. Oh, well, I don't know, I remember it was a Royal Enfield. I said, right, well, there you are. So anyway, I'm going to cut this video short because it's going on a bit and the sun's blaring in my eyes and I can't see a thing. I can't hardly see the camera. So yeah, so this is just to make up for the videos that I took down at the weekend, or just before the weekend, or whenever it was, Friday and Saturday morning I think it was. So hopefully this might make up for it. It's not as interesting as those videos, but there we are, they're gone. I've deleted them forever. I haven't got any copies of the film, so I'm not going to re-upload them again, because if you re-upload a video that's already been on there, it does dreadful, absolutely dreadful. All I kept getting was messages from YouTube saying fewer subscribers are clicking on this video, resulting in fewer views. That's what it kept saying. And they give you an average grey line on the graph, and if you can get your video to outperform that average and get above it, then YouTube will promote it and promote it and promote it and put it in front of people. If it goes below that grey line, YouTube doesn't recommend it to anybody. So you're on a dead horse there. Anyway, that's how that works. Right, I've got to go. I'm going round to see a mate tonight. He's invited me round for dinner, so I won't have to rely on what the cats bring in tonight. He's going to cook me a curry, I think. He's a bit of a whiz cook, and I'm up for that. So, and I've got to be there by 7 o'clock-ish, and it is, if I can find my watch, it's buried. Oh, come on. Oh, right, it's 2 minutes past 7, so I'm off, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.